Hurricane Laura is now 15 miles an hour away from being a major Category 4 storm. It is already our first major Category storm of the season, heading towards Texas and Louisiana today. Good morning, my friends. August 26, 2020, 8:47 a.m., and we're going to go over the latest information on Hurricane Laura, now a major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, our first major hurricane of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, putting very serious threats on Texas and Louisiana today as we are expecting landfall overnight tonight. Here we go with the information. We are at 115 mile an hour sustained winds. We are 15 miles an hour away from being a Category 4. That is higher than projected as far as the forecast for Laura. We expected the storm to get stronger. It did. Taking a look at the pressure, 963 millibars and dropping. We have some charts showing that this thing will hit land at 940 millibars. That is clearly a Category 4 storm. Also, now movements are northwest at 13 knots or 15 miles an hour, so we have that northwest movement. We are still at our time frame for Thursday morning, early Thursday morning, late tonight, I guess you could say. I will be covering this throughout that time. I'm going to do a live stream later on so people can keep an eye on these charts and just know where the storm is, and they can leave questions in the comment section for other people to answer, including myself. The spaghetti plots for Laura are very tight and putting that most eastern edge of Texas and the most western edge of Louisiana in most of the harm's way that we are seeing. And this will track up through Arkansas and then start doing or causing issues, I should say, in Tennessee and Kentucky as well. We will talk about that later, but that hook you see right there is due to the Bermuda Atlantic pressures and the jet stream. And take a look at the model intensity guidance chart. We have many models now in that Category 4 region. We had a few in the Category 5 region. I believe this chart will change for the next update at 11 a.m., but look how many are in Category 3. This would be the expected landfall speed. We could see some of those at Category 2. I do believe now that we are at that Category 3 speed moving into Category 4, we will make landfall at least a Category 3. Take a look at the eye wall that is formed now with Hurricane Laura. As dangerous and as crazy as these storms are, it is a beautiful thing to see, to watch a hurricane form and to see that eye wall forming. That will be a nice tight circle by the time we get landfall, I believe. And we have a few different charts that show the ending of this eye wall here. We could see towards the last couple hours on the COD chart, we could see that eye wall forming as it's approaching that Texas and Louisiana border. As I'm sure a lot of you already know, the expected landfall region is between Galveston, Texas, and Lake Charles, Louisiana. We could see that area right here, Port Arthur, Belmont. All these areas are going to be under a potentially catastrophic situation, and that is no joke. With these major hurricanes, people are left and they're stranded that do not listen to these warnings, these mandatory evacuations, and then before you know it, it's too late, and they're already saying it's too late. If you have not left already, the traffic is just unbelievable. They're closing roads. They have shelters open, all sorts of things within all these areas. Storm surge is going to be a significant issue. We could see that top eastern edge of the storm is going to pull that water counterclockwise into these different areas, 10 to 15 feet, 8 to 12 feet, and then branching off into 4 to 7, and on the opposite side, 6 to 9. We could see that Searim State Park line, about 6 to 9 feet of storm surge. Intercoastal City is going to get hammered with this coastal storm because of those inlets we always talk about with Louisiana. That water gets trapped in there, has nowhere to go, and then floods. So we are looking at many different areas along the Texas and Louisiana border. We're trying to find out that exact area of landfall for the eye of the storm. Again, we have Galveston, and then Lake Charles within Louisiana is probably going to be that area where that landfall is going to take place. But we have to remember that cone of uncertainty. This cone right here, a third of the time we are wrong when we are projecting whether the storm is going to land within this cone or not. We are getting closer and closer to landfall, so the chances of this going outside this cone are getting lower and lower. But just remember, if you are within this cone or even 50 to 60 miles outside the cone, you need to really pay attention to a lot of these warnings and more than likely evacuate before it's too late. Here is another storm surge chart with those 10 to 15 feet storm surges going on near Cameron, Louisiana. This is no joke, going all the way up the river here in Belmont, near Belmont. Even the 2 to 4 by the opening of the Mississippi River here is going to be important. This is also going to flood areas of the river. So this is not just going to be a Texas and western Louisiana event. This is going to affect all sorts of areas around. We're going to pack a lot of info into this video, but here is the category chart for the hurricanes, and we are at Category 3, 111 miles an hour to 129 miles an hour. So once we hit that 130 mark, we are technically a Category 4 storm. Major hurricanes are anything from Category 3 to a 5. There will be a lot to cover today. I will be all over this storm during landfall, before landfall, you name it. If you have not already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Any little bit helps, especially sharing these videos so we can get more and more people aware of what's going on. I've had so many comments of people saying they have no idea what's going on with this storm based on the local weather not reporting it or waiting until last minute to do so. People need a fair warning for storms like this, especially major hurricanes, our first one of the year. I'm saying thank God we had Marco to help people get prepared for a storm like Laura, because as of right now, this storm will be catastrophic. There is no getting around it. People need to be safe. I will be back with an update. Thank you all so much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.